You're watching the best of Gulls All Access.
A smallish defenseman, the new age defenseman, but just the skating ability, the vision, maybe as good as it gets.
Standout young blue liner.
Shoots, scores! First goal as a professional. Drew Helleson.
Welcome to the show, defenseman Drew Helleson. Drew, thanks a lot for joining us, and I want to get to know your background a little bit and to get the idea of how you began in hockey. Was the influence just because of your surroundings in Minnesota and just it's the state of hockey? So was that the big influence for you?
I think that definitely played a part, but my dad grew up playing. He played up until high school, and I know he really wanted me to play, and so he got me into it a little bit, and then everyone around me was playing it growing up, so it's pretty easy in Minnesota to find ice or find a rink. I mean, especially in the winter, all the lakes are frozen. It doesn't take much to get on the ice, and most people do it growing up.
Well, you talked about your dad getting you into hockey, but as you kind of moved along through your childhood and high school, what were some big influences for you to continue playing and stick at it?
Being from Minnesota, there's a lot of guys from Minnesota that play in the NHL, and so just being able to see those guys and look at the path that they went through and kind of compare it to where you are and what you've been doing. It's pretty easy to relate to those guys and then see that it is possible. So just guys from Minnesota that were in the NHL when I was little were guys I looked up to and still strive to be like them.
Was there any player specifically that you looked at when you're watching NHL games and you're like, all right, that's who I want to start playing like?
Well, when I was little, I'll never forget when Zach Parise and Ryan Suter signed with the Wild. Because Zach Parise's from Minnesota. He went to Shattuck where I went, and then now he's on my hometown NHL team, and he was an all-star at the time. He's still is a great player, but back then it was Zach Parise was. I think he had just come off maybe a trip to the Cup Finals with the Devils where he played extremely well. So I'll never forget that day when I saw Zach Parise and Ryan Suter sign with the Wild.
Did you play high school hockey in Minnesota?
I didn't. Unfortunately, I didn't experience what that's like because it is really cool. But I decided to go to Shattuck instead of playing high school in Minnesota. So it's a little different path from a lot of people that grew up in Minnesota, but I don't regret it. I love every second of Shattuck and the NTDP after that. So.
Well, you'll have to familiarize our fans with the all hockey hair team because that's the big thing up there, and I don't think not a lot of people know about that.
No, I still look forward to it every year as watching it because I mean, some of the guys that do it it's crazy what they pull off, but it's awesome. The guy, I don't know who does it or who makes the video every year, but he does a really good job because it's pretty funny, and like I said, I look forward to it every year.
I'm sure my next question was a really big decision and probably one of the biggest ones of your life to this point, attending BC. What was the process for that? How many other schools did you visit? And then why BC? What shines so much about them?
Yeah, I visited a couple other schools. Obviously, being from Minnesota, grew up watching the Gophers, wanting to go there. But there was something about when I visited BC, the way the coaches treated me, and the campus is beautiful. Jerry York's there, like he's the GOAT. It felt like home right when I stepped on campus, and so it made the decision really easy for me. And just playing there, just throwing on that jersey and playing BU on a Friday night, and Conti's sold out, and they got the big Jerry York sign hanging up, and there's nothing like it. It's amazing.
Drew Helleson dancing away. Helleson's in, and he scores! Drew Helleson beats the buzzer and wins the Battle of Comm for the Eagles.
For more Gulls All Access, tune in to Fox 5 San Diego, Fridays at 2:30 p.m.